What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going over a few things. Actually, we're going to be getting started on the build, or getting back to it. So most of you know, if you follow me on TikTok, exactly what this car is that is behind me, and what issues I'm having with it. But if you're new here to the channel, today we're going to be getting started on working on my 2001 Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider GT. So this vehicle, this has a 3-liter V6 in it, with a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, once again, I said if you follow me on TikTok, then you'll know that I've been having a few issues with the transmission lately. Best guess is either probably something with the gears or the input shaft, which not beautiful. If you are, into cars. I've had this for probably close to, I want to say around 7 or 8 months. And have driven it maybe 2 of those. Because I've had to do a good amount of work on it. Once again, it runs, it drives, but the transmission, it's a bit so-so, as of right now. So we're going to start on working on this, because what we're going to do, have to take out intake, everything like that, unhook all the sensors on the transmission. But that's what we're going to start with, because in order to get the transmission out of this, actually, let me just show you. Now, everything under the hood, obviously, fairly basic so far. Nothing fucking beautiful. 24 valve, single overhead cam. So, I have to take out intake, the airbox. This has to come out. There are a few bolts down here that are a pain in the ass to get to. Have to take this out, and then there's a few sensors up here on the transmission. The speed sensor, one of them is right here, if you can see that. But I'm having problems with that too, so I'm probably going to have to end up replacing that speed sensor, because speedometer no work. So that's going to be coming out too and getting replaced as well. But to take out the transmission, obviously have to take all this out, disconnect all the sensors. I am going to take the slave cylinder out. The slave cylinder is new. It doesn't look that way, but it is only like a couple months old. So I will be disconnecting that as well. But there's this mount that's going to have to come off. This mount over here is going to be staying on for the engine, because I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, that I can get the transmission out without having to drop the engine as well, or drop the motor. But today we are going to get started on taking out everything up top here. So without further ado, let's get started on taking this bad boy apart. So, got that portion out of here. I have the bracket. The bracket for The airbox sits right here. I don't really know if I want to take the bracket out at all. I don't think I should have to. As far as I know, I'm gonna take my battery out just so I have a little more room up by that intake tubing, so I can, you know, shimmy some fucking things up here. Just a small bolt up top holds that in place. So once again, I'm gonna have to do a little shit up here, getting that off. Because of the vacuum lines and fuel lines that are up here. Should be loose enough for me to pop that off. Okay, that is out. Now, that PCB line, now this, where does this run to? Directly in there, which cannot fucking take off because this looks like it's cracking. So that's just a little bit of an issue. So I don't want that to be cracking. That does not look good. This, in theory, should just pop off. Yep, there. So that's your PCB line. The tubing itself actually is fairly clean inside, so not a whole lot of oil dumping out in the end there. Okay, the intake is out. The throttle plate and the throttle body is actually pretty clean for the most part, which is really good. Yeah, everything is very clean, which is a big plus, but it's sticking just a little bit. Yeah, that's sticking. It is sticking just a little bit, which I will probably have to deal with and remedy over time, but it's not a super big issue. So let's, first of all, get this battery tray out of here, because this also needs to go so I can get to where I need to get to. It's probably, yep, 12. Okay, so after a few minutes of struggle busing with a rusted fucking bolt, I managed to get the tray out. It was annoying and an absolute bitch to deal with. Okay, just trying to keep all my bolts in their central spot for this, making sure that I don't lose any. Is that okay? Let's sit you guys over here. You already have that detached, so I might as well just leave it like that. That's fun. I might as well just stick these back in here so I don't lose them. Okay. Okay, we have full access to the top portion of the transmission now. Getting the slave cylinder out will be fairly easy now. So So that, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of dirty. So we've got this mount here that we're going to have to take off. Speed sensor right there, which we can just boop, unplug. Fairly simple. Nice and easy. Seems like there's another hold down for it, which I'm trying to, there we go. Yep. So the speed sensor, from the look of it, can't tell, but I think there's oil in it. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but all I know is that that speed sensor is out. So I'm going to have to replace that. Yeah, that connector does not look great. But that's, you know, that's fine. So there are these, there's this sensor up here in the front. There is another portion of sensors back here. Oh, look at that. Oil. Fun. That's fun. So we've got a bit of an oil leak back here. So what I'm assuming is that this valve cover is leaking, because that's the only reason why we get back here. So this sensor is ultimately covered as well in some oil, which is not beautiful. So we've got this mount right here, and we've got this mount in the rear, which we will have to unhook to be able to get it out, as well as the mount in the front. Whew. Now, I'm not going to be doing all of that today. That will be done at a later date, once I get things a little more situated and I am able to fully, well, like once I am completely ready to drop the entire transmission out of this car. So, ooh, look at that. Wow. That looks beautiful too. Man. Looks great. That looks, yeah. Well, the seal's gone bad there, obviously. Got some oil leaking from there. So, overall, not the worst thing I've seen. I think is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take off my slave cylinder for now, because obviously this car is not going anywhere at the moment. So we're gonna start taking off the slave cylinder. All right, so we're gonna get started. I'm taking off this slave cylinder. Have to figure out size. Okay, so that's my right size for that. Now that is a bit smaller. If anything, I might be able to disconnect that line with my pliers. No. Yes, actually, I can. Miracles, joy, oh joy. Now I'm going to get something. I'm going to put something down, obviously. So I don't make a mess of the floor underneath the car, and that poop has already started to drip from that line. I'm gonna put some cardboard down, just because I don't exactly have any sort of catch pan or anything right now. I'm gonna disconnect the line. Oh my God. Okay, well that's fun. So what I'm going to do, first off, I'm gonna spray some penetrating oil on some of these bolts, because these things are rusted to all holy fuck. So we are going to do that. And what I'm using is just some WD-40 penetrant to get that off, or to use that. A little bit on there. Okay. Just making sure that we're getting those bolts. I figured I'd move you guys. Let's actually, there we go. So you guys can see everything. So we're gonna get this line removed. So it's not, you know, it's going to fucking leak a fuck ton before I completely get it out. Okay. Come on. There we go. All right. So that line is partially disconnected. So that's a plus. I'm going to disconnect the 2 bolts in the rear. Oh, fuck me. Okay. So let's move this over to this side then. Oh, I don't want to break off that bleeder if I hit it. God. Oh, shit. Thank God I put the penetrating oil on there, because that motherfucker is on there. Get this one off now. Just muscle the fuck out of this thing. Yeah, that bitch is on there. Holy shit. All right. So that's off. Or these are at least loosened. Not completely off yet. God damn. Whew. Yeah, she is just leaking. Leaking, baby. Damn. Looks like somebody just pissed on my floor. All right. Let's get that slave cylinder off. And there you go. Slave cylinder is off. So that, for the most part, looks pretty good. That is not busted anything or anything. That actually looks really good. Just some grease. For the most part, obviously, it's only a few months old, so it still is looking fairly good, aside from the rust and everything that's on it. But that is just normal wear and tear from the weather around here. But so this line is obviously still leaking. I'm going to let it leak because I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, since I'm going to be pulling the trans anyway, that is not a huge deal for me at all. Now where does that go to? Okay, so that does go to that. Okay. All right, so there's no play there, it's good. All right, so we've got that out. I think that might be where I end up stopping for today, unless, actually, I should probably just disconnect this whole line here and get that whole thing off, considering I'm probably going to have to take it off anyway. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to probably just end up taking it off anyway. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to just disconnect that whole line right there. Actually, there's a few different points here that I'd have to deal with. Let me see if I can even... So there are two brackets that hold these lines in. There's one right there, and there's one up on the side over there. So this is our main area of focus right now, is trying to get these two off. I have already slightly loosened up my one on this side over here. I haven't touched this side yet, so I'm going to finish unscrewing this bracket over here that sits directly on top of the transmission. Get this line off of here, considering, like I said, I was probably going to have to take it out anyway. And if I didn't have to, let me know in the comments, because anything and everything would be very helpful, especially while working on this this build. I would very much appreciate any feedback that you guys have for me, because I really want to get this thing back on the road and driving again, because I do love this car. Let's see if I can get, even though I could use just a few more tools that would make my life a hell of a lot easier while doing it, but whew, you know, we ball. So we're gonna disconnect that line up top really quick, and get that situated. So I'm gonna reposition this right here. There you go. We're gonna get this line all disconnected, which looks very scary because it almost looks like it's gonna fucking break as soon as I put pressure to it. Ooh, that's sketchy. That is very sketchy. Oh, that's sketchy. Oh, I don't like that. Whew. That almost feels like it's gonna snap, which I don't like. So I might as well just take this portion out anyway. If I could actually get this off without snapping this bolt, I will be happy. Fuck. What is that turning? So what do I need to take off in order to get that off? Okay. Okay, I see. So let's grab a bigger pair of pliers and let us hold this shit down so it's not fucking moving while I'm trying to get this bitch off. Fuck, man. Fuck. Dude. This thing is just not in a coming off sort of mood. Actually, that felt promising. I didn't actually get to see what happened, but that felt promising. So the whole thing turning. So the whole thing is turning. So this is a rusted fucking piece of shit. I'm gonna hose down that whole fucking thing so I can actually get it off. Okay, so after just a few more minutes of fighting the rust and the bullshit, I was able to get it detached and get it off of there so I can actually, you know, take it out now. This has got to come off here really quick. If I could. Now, what is that even held in by? Oh, okay. So that. And I've got a piece here that needs to come off really quick. It's fucking, there we go. Just a little piece of wiring that was there. Okay, pull this up and get around. Okay. So there's that line. So the way this runs, obviously, it's from the top portion up here, down, under, through to our slave cylinder, which is this connector right here. We're going to set this off to the side with my slave cylinder so I don't forget what it is. I'm going to take this bracket as well. I'm going to make sure that, yes, that stays on there. Good. I'm going to take this bracket and put it with my slave cylinder as well, so I don't have any more fucking issues with it. Now, I believe most of the fluid looked like it came out with the slave cylinder because most of it is on the ground. There's a good amount of open space here, especially for me to be able to get this bracket off now and hopefully be able to get to the one in the rear as well. But yeah, that might be where we're going to end this for the day. Everything looks decent in this aspect of it. For the most part, that almost looks like it's not sitting in the right spot. Oh, that is another sensor that is on it. Let's just connect that really quick if I can actually get to it. Because I'm hoping to be able to just replace parts of this transmission and put it back into the car without having to swap everything over, without having to swap the whole transmission. Yeah, I can't get that off. I'd have to get off a few other pieces before I try and do that. So there's that. Alright. So this has been day one of working on my project Eclipse, trying to get it road ready. Just getting some basic things out of the way before getting ready to drop the trans out of it. And hopefully pull it apart and see what's wrong with it so we can get it back on the road. Whew. Because I haven't gotten to drive it in a minute except for driving it here. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this content. If you have any recommendations for me, any suggestions on what to do next with it, or where to go from here, let me know in the comments below. Any help would be very much appreciated. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.